Good morning, students. So today we are going to discuss the phenomena of resonance, and we will discuss about polar and non-polar molecules, and then we will discuss about the dipole moment, the various things which influence the dipole moment, and what is the importance of dipole moment. Okay. Now, first of all, what is resonance? Now, see, we can define it in a very simple way that whenever all the properties of a molecule cannot be explained by a single structure, but a number of structures are required for explaining different properties of the molecule, then all such structures are known as resonating structures, and this phenomena is known as resonance. Okay. So see, when we take ozone molecule, it is O3 molecule. When we talk about O3, then it can be represented in Lewis structure form like this or like this. Okay. So its structure is not linear, it is bent. It is bent structure. Now, if we want to represent exactly, if we want to represent such structure which exactly represents this molecule, then this is the form which represents this molecule exactly, and this structure, which is actual structure of the molecule and takes into account all the possible structures, that is known as resonance hybrid structure, or simply resonance hybrid. And that particular structure is the most stable structure, and since it is the most stable structure, so its energy is minimum out of all the available structures. Okay. So how these come into action? According to the concept of resonance, whenever a single Lewis structure cannot describe a molecule accurately, a number of structures with similar energy, position of nuclei, bonding and non-bonding pairs of electrons are taken as canonical structures. Resonating structures are also termed as canonical structures, okay, of the hybrid which describes the molecule accurately. So this is the resonance hybrid which describes the molecule accurately. Okay. Now let us discuss this molecule ozone. The ozone molecule can be equally represented by the structure 1 and 2. Now which are 1 and 2? We have drawn a double headed arrow and two structures are written on left side and right side. So those represent equally the molecule. In both the structures we have O single bond O and a O double bond O. Okay, their bond lengths are 148 picometer and 121 picometer respectively. Experimentally determined oxygen-oxygen bond lengths in the O3 molecule are same. Now they are 128. If we see experimentally, then this bond length is this much. Okay. Now it means, what it means? It means that oxygen bonds in the oxygen O3 molecule are intermediate between a double bond and a single bond. See, for single bond this should be the bond length, for double bond 121 picometer should be the bond length, and for single bond 148 should be the bond length. But what we found it is 128 picometer. So what does it mean? It means that neither exact double bond is there nor exact single bond is there. So it is in the midway between the two, because it is 128 picometer. So what we can say, that there must be a particular structure which represents all the possible structures, and that structure will have the bond length of OO as 128 picometer. So this is because of this reason that there is the phenomena of resonance, and we get a resonance hybrid structure. That structure possesses the exact value of bond length which is found experimentally. Okay, so now let us discuss these two problems on the basis of resonance. Now when we talk about carbonate ion is CO3 2 negative. So first of all we will write its Lewis structure. So when we write its Lewis structure, we can write like this. See what we have done. For carbon there are 4 electrons and for oxygen there are 6 electrons. Okay, now when we arrange 3 atoms of oxygen and 1 atom of carbon, then we can arrange it like this. See, double bond of carbon means 2 electrons of carbon are shared this side, okay, and one electron is shared on these two sides. Okay, so 4 electrons of carbon are over. Now when we talk about this oxygen, then its 2 electrons are used in making double bond with 2 electrons of carbon and 4 electrons are shown here. For other two, what is there? Since these two carry negative charge means there is one more electron, addition of one electron. So there are total 7 electrons with O negative as valence electrons. Okay, now out of those 7, 6 are shown here and 7th electron is used in making a single bond with carbon. Okay, now if we see it properly, then what we are able to see? We are able to see that there is presence of double bond with one oxygen atom and presence of 2 single bonds with other 2 oxygen atoms. Those oxygen atoms with which it has made a single bond, they carry negative charge. So we can write it like this also, we can write it like this also, and we can write it like this also. So all these 3 structures represent canonical structures, or we will say they represent resonating structures. And which way we are going to represent our resonance hybrid structure? We will represent like this. Okay, first of all there is single bond with all, and then we will show it by partial double bond. Partial double bond means this dotted line represents the partial double bond, and then there will be 2 negative charge. We will write the structure in the square bracket with single bond with all the oxygens and carbon, and then one partial bond which is represented by a dotted line, that also will be there, and then we will put 2 negative charge on the top of the bracket. Okay, this represents the resonance hybrid structure of carbonate ion. Similarly for CO2 molecule, if we write it, then it will be written like this. See, all the electrons are shown there. Carbon has 4 electrons and oxygen has 6 electrons. Here it is O. This is O, not C. Middle atom is carbon and other 2 atoms are of oxygen. So here you can see 4 electrons of carbon are shown and 2 electrons of each oxygen atom are shared with carbon atom. And so this is one way. In second way, we can write like this. See, one electron transfers from, one electron transfers from O to this side, and this contains, or we can say like this. See, this oxygen is surrounded by 8 electrons. From where those 8 electrons are coming? The shared pair is from C only. We can say like this. Okay, or in other words we can say like this, that here there is no charge on any atom, but in this case there is negative charge on oxygen and positive charge on other oxygen. That oxygen which has positive charge is surrounded by less number of electrons, or we can say that one of its electron has shifted. So one of its electrons shifts from this side. Okay, so that carries positive charge, and the other oxygen towards which that electron shifted, that is electron rich now. There is presence of more electrons now. so it occupies negative charge. So we say it is partial negative and partial positive charge. Okay, so these three structures, they represent the resonating structures of carbon dioxide molecule. So most stable structure of this will be this one. This is the most stable structure of this. Okay, now let us discuss what is non-polar covalent bond. Covalent bond, we have known earlier that there is mutual sharing of electron pair between the two bonded atoms, and that bond is called covalent bond. Now it will be non-polar covalent bond if there is no development of charge. Now development of charge depends on electronegativity difference. Now if two similar atoms are there, if there are two similar atoms, then whatever is their electronegativity, it will not affect it. Okay, so whatever is their electronegativity, that will have no effect on that, and in that case what will happen, the shared pair will be at equal distance from nuclei of the two bonded atoms. So there will be no development of charge, and such molecule will be termed as non-polar molecule, and that bond will be termed as non-polar covalent bond. Okay, so in general what we can say, if there is no separation of charges between the bonded atoms, then such molecule is called non-polar molecule, and the bond formed is non-polar covalent bond. Now before discussing polar covalent bond, let us discuss dipole moment. Okay, now see, what do we mean by dipole moment? Dipole moment is represented by this symbol nu. Okay, it is the product of Q and R. What is Q? Q is the charge on the one end, R is the distance of separation of the two atoms. Now its units are d by units. We denote it by capital D. And what is d by unit? 1 d by is equal to 3.33564 into 10 raised to power minus 30 coulomb meter. Okay, now see, in this case you can see two things you have to remember. Very first thing, it is a vector quantity. Okay, and it is represented by an arrow which is from positive end to negative end. Now see, in this molecule we have taken an example of hydrofluoric acid HF. F is more electronegative, H is less electronegative, so the shared pair of electron will be near to F because of electronegativity. Electronegativity is the tendency of an atom to attract the shared pair of electron towards itself. So fluorine is more electronegative, it means shared pair will be nearer to this, so it will develop partial positive charge. Because of more electronegativity of fluorine, electron pair is nearer to F, and so it develops partial positive charge. Partial means very small, and so the other end develops partial positive charge. Now what is dipole moment? This arrow represents the direction of dipole moment and the distance between the centers of these two, which is denoted by R, and this is charge. That charge multiplied by R will give us the dipole moment value of the molecule. Okay, so we have to remember that dipole moment is a vector quantity. It has magnitude as well as direction, and its direction is from positive end to negative end. Okay, now we will describe dipole moment of polyatomic molecules. Okay, when we are taking heteroatomic molecules, then what will be there? For homoatomic, it is always, dipole moment value is always 0. Okay, now in case of polyatomic, okay, what I said, it is not 0. Dipole moment, that molecule is non-polar if it is homoatomic. If it is heteroatomic, then it is having some dipole moment value. For homoatomic molecules, there is no development of charge, so for those molecules there is no dipole moment. But if it is heteroatomic, then it will definitely have dipole moment value, because there will be formation of Q, means charge on any one end, and then they will be separated by certain distance also. Okay. Now let us discuss dipole moment of triatomic molecules. Now see, carbon dioxide and water, these two molecules are triatomic molecules. Now if we see, then dipole moment of carbon dioxide is 0, but for water there is definite value of this. Now why is it so? As we said that dipole moment is a vector quantity. So when we talk about CO2, then its structure is like this. Okay, so it means whatever dipole is obtained this side, same dipole is obtained on the opposite side, and they will cancel each other's effect. Okay, so it will have zero dipole moment. Now if we talk about H2O, then what is there? The structure is not linear. Because of non-linear structure, there will be definitely some value, and that will have like this. Direction of dipole moment will be like this. Okay, so what does it mean? It means that H2O will have certain definite value of dipole moment. Okay, now it means that geometry of the molecule, that always plays its role. If the geometry is linear, then if the bonds are similar, then they will cancel each other effect, and resultant dipole moment will be 0. Okay, so this is what we have to remember. Now let us discuss okay, this is again explanation of water molecule. There is bond angle of 104.5 degree in case of water molecule, and it has dipole moment value as 1.84 d by units. Okay, now how we determine the polarity of molecule? We are moving towards the polar molecules. So polarity, how we measure? So regarding that, it is explained. Existence of a polar bond in a molecule does not necessarily mean the molecule is polar. Now see, very first thing, if we are seeing a polar bond, then polar bond will not guarantee that the molecule is also polar. Just like in case of CO2, this is a polar bond, this is also a polar bond, but there is no dipole moment, net dipole moment value is 0. Okay, so it means it does not give any guarantee. So what gives guarantee? Shape. Shape decides what is going to happen, what will be the result. Non-polar molecules either has non-polar bonds or polar bonds whose dipoles cancel to 0. Means if a molecule is non-polar, then it means there may be presence of polar bonds, or there may be all non-polar bonds, but the ultimate effect will be that their total dipole moment value will be 0. Okay, and in case of polar molecule, they have polar bonds with dipoles which do not cancel each other, just like in case of water. Now see, here in case of water, this is also polar bond, this is also polar bond, and as per parallelogram law of vector addition, this is the direction of net dipole moment or resultant dipole moment. Okay, so it means there is definite value of dipole moment. Now if we consider this molecule, okay, now see, if we talk about BF3 and NH3 molecule, BF3 and NH3 molecule, these are tetraatomic molecules. There are total 4 atoms. Okay, then dipole moment of BF3 is 0, but for NH3 it is 1.49 d by units. So what does it mean? It means that BF3 has symmetrical structure, and those bonds which are formed in this case, their net resultant dipole moment value will be 0. Okay. Now if we talk about NH3, then its geometry is not symmetrical, and if its geometry is not symmetrical, then what will happen? There will be definitely some resultant dipole moment. Okay. So it will not give us, it will give us some definite value of dipole moment. Now you can see here, see, now we are talking about ammonia and BF3. See, this is B and these are F. Okay. Now because of electronegativity difference, F has more electronegativity than boron, so its direction of the dipole moment will be like this direction, similarly like this, and similarly like this. Okay. So because of this symmetrical structure, whatever dipole moment we are getting for this and this bond, that will be exactly in the opposite direction and of equal magnitude as is the value for this bond. So they are going to cancel each other effect. So boron trifluoride will have 0 net dipole moment, and we will say it is non-polar. Okay. But if we talk about NH3, then what will happen? These two bonds, these two atoms are forming a polar bond. Similarly, this is also polar, this is also polar. Now the resultant of these two will be in this direction somewhere, and this resultant and this one, they will definitely have some resultant in other direction. Okay. So there will be definitely some value, because resultant of these two dipole moments is not in the exact opposite direction of this bond. Okay. So because of this non-symmetrical structure, we will definitely get some value, or we will get some dipole moment value. Okay. Now if we consider NH3 and NF3, then what happens? The question is that both are having similar structure, but why we are getting so much difference in their dipole moment values? What is the reason? Now see, its reason is very much evident from their structure. Now see, when we compare N and H, then electronegativity of N is more as compared to H. So direction of dipole moment, the direction of dipole moment is this side. Okay. So this is getting some net value of dipole moment in this direction. All are on the same direction, so this is the reason. If we talk about NF3, then fluorine is more electronegative than nitrogen, because this is more electronegative, so direction changes to this side. Okay. So what happens? Because of difference in direction, the net resultant, in this case, in previous case, the resultants were in the same direction, but in this case the resultants are in the opposite directions. So the overall value becomes less. In case they are in the same direction, then the value would have been more. In this case, the direction of dipole moments which come at the end, those are different, those are opposite, so they cancel each other's effect, and whatever is left out, that we get as dipole moment. Okay. Now what is the importance of dipole moment? Now see, non-polar molecules have 0 dipole moment, while polar molecules have some value of dipole moment. This is the very first thing which we learn from dipole moment. Second, if we are getting greater value of dipole moment, then it means that molecule is more polar. Okay. Third thing, dipole moment is also used for determination of shapes of molecules. Okay, because dipole moment not only depends upon the individual dipole moment of the bond but also on the arrangement of bonds. So how the bonds will be arranged, that can be drawn on the basis of dipole moment values. Okay, now if we are getting zero dipole moment values, then we will say that there will be definitely a symmetrical structure for the given atoms in a molecule. Okay, now what is the nature of chemical bond, that also can be determined. Okay, because it depends on electronegativities of the atoms involved in a molecule. So these all things are determined on the basis of dipole moment. Now we come to polar covalent bond. Okay, now see, if we take heteronuclear molecules, heteroatomic molecules, if we take just like HF, the two atoms are of different elements, so it is heteroatomic or heteronuclear molecule. In such case, we will get separation of charges, and separation of charges will be resulting in the formation of polar covalent bond. Okay, now see, here we have taken this example HCl. For H, electronegativity is less as compared to Cl. So Cl develops partial negative charge, H develops partial positive charge, and these two charged species are separated by a distance, and this is the direction of dipole moment. Okay. Now since we have discussed polar and non-polar molecules, so we can compare these. Now this is for comparison. These are polar molecules. Now see, HCl, it is biatomic or diatomic, but it is having polarity because these are heteroatomic molecules. In case of NH3, there is unsymmetrical structure. Its structure is pyramidal, so it has dipole moment value. Now if we take this, it is chloroform, not chloroform, it is methyl chloride CH3Cl. So since in one side there is not same bond, same type of atoms are not there, so there is difference in the dipole moment value. So this molecule will also have certain definite value of dipole moment. Now if we talk about these molecules, CCl4, here all the four bonds are same, and this molecule is symmetrical, so it will have zero dipole moment value. In case of BF3, it is also symmetrical, all the bonds are same, so it will also have zero dipole moment value. Now today whatever we have discussed, on the basis of that you have to solve these home assignments. Okay, thank you.